The phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the kitchen tiles with a sound like breaking bones. My wife's voice, Sarah's voice, echoed through the speaker, sharp and careless, slicing through the late-night silence. "He's better for us, Tom. He's promised to adopt the kids. We're moving in with him tomorrow." Each word landed like a punch, stealing my breath, leaving my chest hollow. I stood frozen in our dimly lit kitchen, the hum of the fridge the only sound tethering me to reality. The kids' drawings still clung to the fridge door, their crayon smiles mocking me. How had it come to this? For weeks I'd sensed something off, like a faint crack in a windshield that you convince yourself won't spread. Sarah had been distant, her laughter thinner, her eyes avoiding mine. She'd linger over her phone, thumbs dancing across the screen, claiming it was work. I'd rationalized it, overtime, stress, maybe a new project. But the late nights grew later, her perfume sharper, her excuses flimsier. "Client dinners," she'd said, her voice too smooth, her smile too tight. I'd nod, swallowing the unease, because doubting her felt like betraying the woman I'd loved for 12 years. The kids, Lila 7 and Max 4, noticed too. Lila's question stung. "Why's mommy always gone?" I'd ruffle her hair, mumbling about grown-up responsibilities, but the lie tasted bitter. Max just clung to me, his small hands gripping my shirt like he sensed the world shifting beneath us. I'd lie awake at night, Sarah's side of the bed cold, my mind spinning through possibilities. Was I too distant? Too predictable? Had I failed her somehow? The questions gnawed at me, each one a splinter under my skin. That morning the truth began to unravel. I found her scarf, a crimson silk thing I'd bought for our anniversary, draped over the couch, reeking of unfamiliar cologne. My stomach churned, but I shoved the thought down, telling myself it was nothing. Maybe a colleague's scent clung to her at a meeting. But when I picked up her phone to check the time, a message flashed on the lock screen. "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Kids asleep." No name, just a number. My heart thudded, a drumbeat of dread. I stared at the words, willing them to rearrange into something innocent, but they burned into me, undeniable. I didn't confront her. Not then. Confrontation felt like stepping off a cliff, and I wasn't ready to fall. Instead, I watched her that evening, searching for cracks in her facade. She moved through the house with a forced lightness, kissing the kids goodnight with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Big day tomorrow," she said, her voice bright but brittle like glass about to shatter. I nodded, my throat tight, and waited until she left for another late meeting. The call came at midnight. I was washing dishes, the suds cold against my hands, when her name lit up my phone. I answered, expecting an excuse, but her words were a blade. "I'm leaving, Tom. I've been with someone else. He's what we need." Her voice trembled, but not with guilt, with resolve. "He loves the kids. He'll adopt them, give them a better life." I couldn't speak. The room spun, the dish in my hand slipping into the sink with a dull clink. "Who is he?" I finally croaked, but she hung up, leaving only silence and the weight of her betrayal. I sat there, staring at the kids' toys scattered across the living room. Lila's stuffed bunny, Max's plastic dinosaur. The thought of another man raising them, erasing me from their lives, ignited something feral in me. Anger, yes, but beneath it, a deeper ache. Love twisted into something sharp and desperate. I loved Sarah even now, but the image of her with him, laughing, touching, planning a future without me, tore at my sanity. I needed answers, proof, something to anchor the chaos in my chest. I didn't sleep. By dawn I was at my laptop, hands shaking as I logged into our shared cloud account. I hadn't checked it in years, but Sarah was careless with passwords. There it was, a folder labeled Work Docs, stuffed with photos. Her and a man, tall, slick, with a smile too polished, kissing in a car, laughing at a restaurant, posing with my kids at a park I didn't recognize. My breath hitched, rage and grief colliding. The timestamp stretched back months. Months of lies, of her slipping away while I clung to the illusion of our family. But one photo stopped me cold. A lease agreement signed by Sarah and this man, for an apartment across town. Move-in date tomorrow. My kids, my life, boxed up and handed to a stranger. I wanted to scream, to break something, but a colder instinct took over. Revenge wasn't enough. I needed to reclaim what was mine. I called my lawyer, a friend from college who didn't sugarcoat. "Tom, you've got a shot at full custody," he said, his voice steady over the phone. Her moving in with someone else, planning to let him adopt without your consent? That's reckless. We can argue she's unstable. His words were a lifeline, pulling me from despair to purpose. I spent the day gathering evidence, screenshots, texts, the lease, each click fueling my resolve. By evening, I'd filed an emergency custody motion, citing abandonment and emotional endangerment. The judge, a stern woman with tired eyes, granted a temporary order. Sarah wouldn't take the kids anywhere. Not yet. The confrontation came at dusk. Sarah pulled into our driveway, her car packed with boxes, her face pale but defiant. "I'm here for the kids," she said, avoiding my gaze. The air was thick with the scent of rain, the sky bruising purple. I stepped onto the porch, the custody papers in my hand, and watched her confidence falter. "You're not taking them," I said, my voice low, steady despite the storm inside me. "You think you can erase me? Replace me with him?" I held up the papers, her name stark against the legal text. "The court says they stay with me. You want to fight, Sarah? Fight me in court." Her eyes widened, lips parting in shock. "Tom, I didn't mean." Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I saw the woman I loved, vulnerable, lost. But then I remembered the photos, the lies, the callous promise of another man adopting my children. My heart hardened. "You chose this," I said, stepping closer, my voice a blade of its own. "You broke us. But you don't get to break them." I nodded toward the house where Lila and Max played, oblivious to the wreckage. "Go ahead, Sarah. Move in with him. But you're not taking my kids." She stood there, rain starting to fall, her defiance crumbling into something raw, guilt, maybe, or regret. "I thought I was doing what's best," she whispered, but the wind swallowed her words. She turned, got into her car and drove away, her taillights fading into the storm. I leaned against the doorframe, the papers crumpled in my fist, my chest tight with a strange mix of triumph and sorrow. The kids' laughter drifted from inside, a fragile reminder of what I'd fought for. Sarah's betrayal had shattered our world, but I'd rebuilt a piece of it, claiming my place as their father. Yet as the rain soaked my shirt, I wondered if revenge was enough, or if the ghost of her love would haunt me forever.